Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of You Look Lovely Today.
Thank you.
And today our topic will be in-laws. We are getting married in a couple months, and
Couple months. Wow.
but I'm very fortunate that my future in-laws are very, very great. Like your parents are very, very chill.
Likewise. I think that at the beginning you were quite nervous, but I think that you're not really uncomfortable around them anyways because we're friends before, like way back, and then you get to meet my parents before, until the transition shifted from like being just best friend to crossing the line and be like sort of like family, or I'm serious with like your daughter. So I think it's also like take a bit of turns, right? Like the transitioning from then to now.
Yeah. I think your family is not too like they're quite okay with like giving us our independence, even like they're not too how do you say, like
they give it a lot of space.
Yeah, they give us our own space even when we're at the house. Like they're not too like I know some people in, not to be named, but I know like their parents are like, they like, have like very like not many boundaries when it comes to their kids. Like they'll like read their Facebook back in the day, and like when they come in the room, they just like look over their shoulders and see what the kids are like doing. And I remember like just being like, oh God, I couldn't live like that.
It's just being protective, and just want to be, because sometimes I think kids are not sharing as much as before. So this is the way that they can know what's happening with their life, or not. But I think it's also sometimes parents also want to find a way to connect or be able to know like what are they doing or how's everything.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, but in-law is it's quite a nervous topic, when we start dating, and also the first time that I also met your parents, and it's nervous, but everything turned out great.
Right.
Yeah.
I think what makes in-laws a tricky situation is that, or not just like in-laws and parents, but like, for example, your sister and like my siblings, stuff like that, is that you obviously fall in love with someone and you pick that person, like I picked you.
I'm honored.
But then you meet their parents and like their family members, and it's like they're not that they're not the person that you pick. I mean, they're obviously not the person that you pick, but then you obviously want them to like you as well.
Yeah. It's the whole package. Like
exactly,
you married their family, not just another person.
Yeah. And it's difficult because the family is...
Why are your hands sweaty?
I'm nervous. No, I'm kidding.
Talking about the parents.
No, your parents are cool. Okay. So this is, unfortunately, these are stories about where maybe the in-laws or family is not so easy as ours. So our first story is from Am I the Butthole? Reddit, and it's titled "Am I the Asshole for Leaving the Table After What My Father-in-Law Said?" by username it's a throwaway account, I think. Yeah, throwaway Al's dinner. Anyways, okay. My 27, so she's a female, 27, and her husband, 29, male, and I were invited at my in-laws for dinner yesterday. Everything was going great until my mother-in-law brought up my husband's player phase in high school. My mother-in-law was just jokingly being like, honestly, in high school, I'd never thought he'd actually settle down with somebody. And my father-in-law was like, yeah, even less with someone like you. I asked him what he meant by that. Both my mother-in-law and husband were like, please no, in an oh, he's gonna fuck up way. My father-in-law said, well, you weren't exactly his type in high school, My husband tried to make him stop after that, but my father-in-law added, not saying you weren't pretty enough or anything like that, you just wouldn't have caught his eyes. I got up from the table and went to the bathroom. I was not even there for 5 minutes, then my husband knocked and told me we were leaving. Once we were home, my husband received a text from his mom saying that my reaction was childish and disrespectful, and that we wouldn't be invited again until I apologized. My husband replied that I'd only apologize if my father-in-law apologized first. He didn't get an answer, but his sister texted me that I needed to apologize as soon as possible because I was putting my husband's relationship with his parents at risk over a misunderstanding. Well, so she didn't ask the "Am I the asshole?" question, but I think she's like, "Am I an asshole for leaving the table?" And so, what do you think?
I wouldn't leave the table, but I would be totally offended by the father-in-law. Why would he brought it? It's just very inconsiderate, topic, and not inconsiderate topic, but there's no point to like talk about it. Maybe it's like they make this kind of joke when it just the inner circle. It could be, but. Maybe he thought that she's like more open-minded and wouldn't think of it that way. But I mean, if you think on like another person's shoes, you wouldn't like the topic as well, So I think it's fair for her to be mad and be a bit angry about it. But I don't think she should did she just left the table and went home? I'm sorry.
She went to the restroom and then I think she was just kind of like composing herself in the restroom, and then her husband came and was like, "Hey, we're leaving." So
but her husband is so cute. Yeah, I think he knows that like it's not, nothing will get any better if they just stay, and I think it's just like already heated conversation. So I think it's better to leave. I don't think that of course she's not an asshole. She's not asking that, but I think but you can be. I don't know. I feel like sometimes you also want to be like, oh, there are the in-laws, so there's like God. You cannot do anything at all, So you have, even though like you're mad, but I know sometimes like, I mean, if sometimes like I'm mad at my parents or you're mad at your parents at like the dinner table, we wouldn't do that right away. I would just talk to my parents not behind your back, but like I just talk to them separately, like, hey, this is not nice, because you also want to be respectful for your parents, but I don't think that the parents should brought this topic up or just try to, I mean, of course like they want to explain, because it's not, I don't think he had bad intention, but he just like blunted out.
I think the mom was just kind of like being funny, joking, a little bit rude, but like just like as a joke.
Yeah.
And then the dad kind of jumped on but went too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know what you're saying about like kind of like the in-laws are like God in a way that like you can't talk back, or like, kind of like sometimes if they're not nice, you just kind of like gotta smile and be like, like, even though that hurt, but
Yeah, I think that I would do that if it's happened. I would just like, but just not responding like lively or aggressively, but I just like nod along, and I would just talk to her separately. I would just talk to you separately that I don't like that, but it's on you if you want to talk to them or not. But I don't think the family should intervene that much, and I don't think that they should also look at on their side that if they are in her shoes, I don't think they would like this, so I think they should just let it go. But yeah, sometimes it's not fair, but I think that because in this scenario you're younger, they're senior, there's parents, so
26 and 29. But I think it's definitely a moment where
26 and 29 between like the husband and the wife.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm referring to the parents.
Yeah. But I mean, they're still adults, like 26, 29.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I think that would definitely be a moment. If it was our situation, it would, like, I think we would definitely like, tap our feet under the table and be kind of like, give it a look like sorry, like we'll definitely talk about this at the debriefing after on the drive home.
But like I think for us, we will just talk it later between us. But I think that there's few times that like I would have like conversation with my mom, and I think that her opinion is not the right way, or it's like against my logic. I would just talk to her right away, like, hey, I don't think that you should think that way, or I think that the way that you're saying it, it's not nice to be speaking to other people, because sometimes she's like, oh wait, really, she didn't thought it that way, So I think that me and my moms, many times that we can have like quite upfront, but I have to also like see the room, like
Mm-hmm.
how does it go? Is it the right time for me to talk to her? But we are quite straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your family, or you mean like?
I think my family, we're
Yeah.
quite straightforward.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are also times that I'm like, no, I just need to like leave, But most of the time it's that we be able, because I think that luckily that my mom sometimes she also wants to know, she wants to learn,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sometimes like in this social setting, maybe like she didn't think that it's a bad intention,
Yeah.
But I just like, hey, maybe some people might think that way.
I think they could have like history, like maybe she knows, or like deep down she's like, have like a bad taste in her mouth from like the father-in-law, like he wasn't nice or something, But for example, like with your family, I feel like, if your family was ever to say something and I was offended, I think that, overall I know that they're not bad people, and I was like, okay, maybe it was just like poor judgment or something like that, but at the same time it's like, okay, you can let it slide,
Yeah.
and I think also maybe because we're really like people pleasers.
Yep.
So I think that we would definitely like,
We try to avoid, not we try to avoid conflict, but we try to be like mediator and just try to calm the
Yeah.
situations. Yeah.
I think I would usually try to like see the best in people.
Yeah.
But who knows? It could have
Do
been like,
you?
I think so. Do I not? I see the best in you.
Oh,
There's only best things. No, I'm just kidding. Too much.
please.
Okay, so some of the comments. The first top comment said, "Not the asshole. There was no misunderstanding. I guess you'll just have to find a way to make it through life without invites from your in-laws." And the
So to
OP,
cut them off?
yeah, because the parents were like, "You're not invited to anything until you apologize." And then the people were like, you don't need to apologize. So just like, you won't get invites, but that's fine. She said, "It personally wouldn't bother me that much, but it's my husband I worry about. I fear it's only going to hurt him in the long term."
Oh, that's right.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Maybe that's the right way, that maybe you should ask your husband that, what would you advise me? Because it's a teamwork.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of other stories where the 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 husband or the partner sometimes get left on the side because the kid still sides with the parents or feels like under the parents' thumb. Like there was
Yeah.
one where the husband and wife went to go visit their parents, the wife's parents, and then the wife's parents were like, "Your husband can't sleep in the same bed as you when you're in my house. Like you have to sleep on the couch." And then the husband's like, "Well, I was gonna go to a hotel then because I don't want to sleep on the couch." And then the wife's parents were like, "That was really rude that you left, and
But they married?
yeah, they're married, and they're like, you have to come back, and you have to sleep on the couch, like a power play in a sense." And the wife was like, "Yeah, you have to come back," and is like didn't have her husband's back in the beginning, which I feel like, you're your own team, but maybe that's a cultural thing too, because I find that, I mean, I grew up in the States, and I feel like marriage in the States is like between two people falling in love
Yeah.
and forming like a new family, and they become their own like kind of like unit. Where I feel like in Asian culture, it's very much like two families coming together when there's a marriage, and it's still like there's a much more, I don't want to say that there's a closer bond with parents in Asian cultures, because it's not that I'm not close with my parents. But I think there's a more of a sense of respecting the independence of the kids, where I feel like in Asian cultures, a lot of times the parents and the kids still feel like a package together, yeah, which is, I mean, they're both good and bad things. I'm not, yeah, it's just different cultures. Yeah. But luckily your parents are cool. I mean, I have to say that, right?
Your parents are cool.
Just kidding. Okay. So then someone replied to the OP, said, "It sounds like your husband has your back, which he should."
Yeah, he's sweet.
Yeah, that's sweet. "I wouldn't want to go back to my parents' house if they treated my wife like that. Your father-in-law is playing the victim. Don't let them twist it like that. Call him and tell him you want to apologize for bringing out the worst in him, and then tell him to fuck off." That's quite strong. I don't know if I could. I'm not. I mean, I don't know if I could. I think I'd find a way to like word it nicely, and maybe approach the father and just be like, I didn't appreciate the way that made me feel. I didn't. My intention wasn't to ruin the dinner, but
As much as
yeah.
rebel that I want to be,
Mhm.
but I think in this case, just want to move over it and
Yeah,
just move
yeah.
on. So I guess at the end I would just apologize, but I would just ask you and talk to you first, like, hey, in this situation, this is what I think. What do you prefer? It's your parents, I don't want you to have conflict with your parents. Do you think
Mhm.
it's best if I just apologize so we can get over with? So I mean, at the end of the day, you're still family.
Yeah.
So it's not nice as well for you to break. Or I mean, at least that your husband, like, you know what, it's fine. You don't need to come to my family thing. I'll just go. It's fine between us.
No, okay. So if I feel like if this happened with us, uh, you and like my dad said it to you or something like that, I think I would kind of like stand up. I would speak on your. Not I don't want to say I'm speaking on your behalf, but I would definitely like talk to my parents.
Yeah.
Because if there's a conflict between me and my parents, I think they will get over it. Not that they'll get over. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I'm their son, so like, what are they gonna do? Versus like I don't want them to hate my wife, and I think that I, not that we shouldn't stand up for ourselves. Obviously, we should, but if she was just like smiled and maybe like we discussed it in private later with the husband, like how should we address this? Then it could have been like a bad joke that didn't land because obviously the son and the mother-in-law were a little bit uncomfortable with it, and then just move on,
Yeah.
versus like now it's like an issue, and it really sucks when, I mean, family is such a important and nice thing to have, and to like cause like a rift is not nice, especially. I mean, yeah, keeping families together is important.
True.
Yeah.
And you're the glue of the family
Yeah. Am I? Or are you saying in general?
in general.
Yeah. Okay. So so that was it. Yeah, with that one. We have another mother-in-law or parents-in-law one now. Okay, and for our next story is on from the same subreddit.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the butthole? Am I the asshole for telling my husband to stop trying to make my racist parents like him?
Racist?
Racist, yeah. Okay. This is by Reddit user Aware Primary 1072. Very original. Okay. I, female 24, have a partner, husband 26, male. For story's sake, we'll call him Alex. Alex and I have been together for 4 years and married for 1. We are an interracial relationship. I'm white and Alex is Asian. Alex's family were accepting for our relationship, and his family grew to like me over time as they got to know me. My family, especially my parents, are unfortunately incredibly racist. They don't like Alex in the slightest. They don't say anything overtly aggressive to his face, but will not be particularly kind or welcoming to him. When he isn't around, they hound me, telling me I should marry my own race. Ooh. It's been difficult, and quite frankly, I want to go and see. Oh, no contact with my parents. Alex thinks this is not a good idea, as it will ruin any chance of my parents changing their minds, and that I might regret it in the future. Sweet. Alex, being the sweetheart he is, keeps making efforts to try to get my parents to like him, even more so since we got married, but it always ends in disappointment. Recently, it was my dad's birthday, and he didn't have anything planned, and Alex offered for him and my mom to come over for dinner. They accepted, but they never turned up, and when I called them, they said they were at my sister's place. She lives around a 5-hour drive away for the weekend, and they forgot, quote unquote. Alex tried to hide it, but I could tell he was upset. I told him that it's not through any fault of his own, but my parents will never like him, and he should save his time and energy for something else, like spending time with his own parents. He got mad and said that I was being insensitive and that what I said was unhelpful and unnecessary. He didn't say anything else, and we didn't argue, but the next thing I knew, he was at the door and saying he was going to stay with a friend for a couple of nights. He still hasn't come back and won't respond to my text. Was I wrong for saying this? Am I just being oblivious?
Damn, this is complicated. I wonder if he's back.
His bag?
Back.
Oh, he's back. Oh.
Yeah, I hope he's back.
Let's see. Are there any updates? No updates for now. But I'm trying to think of why he's upset with the wife being insensitive. I mean, this...
I don't think he's upset with the wife, but he upset with the situation.
Yeah.
And he's just trying, you know. And I don't think that he wants to give up and just accept that they don't like him. I think that he wants to believe that he can change, and it's quite a concerned topic, racist. And I think that in this, I think being Asian, maybe you would, I mean, I don't like it.
I think
it's very hard to comment on this. Wait, you go first and then I'll try.
I don't want to assume American because they said white. But if they are American, maybe the daughter is kind of like I said earlier, like we're our own unit, we're our own family now. So if my parents don't like you, that's whatever. But I love you. We're together.
Very
What's the big deal? Like I think a lot of
some culture. It's
like
that,
I don't. Maybe I only see my parents on major holidays, stuff like that, and call them up once in a while. And I think in Asian cultures where maybe Alex is from, the relationship with the parents is very important, and the relationship with your partner's parents is also important, and so maybe he feels like maybe he's not good enough, or like self-doubt for him. So
I don't think you have to be best friend with the in-law, but you should be able to have dinner and meet once a while, and in this case that he already planned the dinner, maybe he's cooking, or I mean, his intention, he planned for them to like have a nice meal together, but they just forgot.
Yeah. The wife was just like, what did she say? She said...
But I think the wife just want to set an expectations for him, that's so he doesn't have to feel disappointed no more. So I think that's why she want him to just accept it and then we just move on.
I think the wife just being blunt and being like, my parents are never going to like you. I think that was hard for him to hear.
Did she say that like upfront? Like
she said, I told him that it's in no fault, any fault, through any fault of his own, but my parents will never like him and he should save his time and energy for something else. And I think it's just like, maybe he's also a people pleaser like us and he just feels like, like, why?
I mean, I also know that like some family that maybe the in-law and the husband or the wife are not getting along, but it's just also the person that you marry to, what the value do they see? Or the importance of the family to them, if they're like, oh, we'll meet my parents like twice a year or like 3 times a year, then it's fine, whatever relationship you have, but for some family, like my family, that if once I moved out, I want to see them every weekend, so I'm like, I would want us to have you to have a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't mean you have to text them every day, send them reels or memes, but we can go out and have dinner together like once a month. And I don't expect you to join me in every all weekends, but once a month, because it's not like, oh, you got my daughter and then you're just gonna like bye.
I wonder what it was like before they got married. Like when that whole
but this is what's the challenge, some true love. Maybe I'm not saying that they love the challenge, but it's one obstacle and you have to go through it together so you be able to like be together.
I mean, in a way it's like, maybe they come from like a racist family and then, it breaks that chain. Like the daughter and like their kids obviously won't be racist, at least to Asians. But
I don't know anyone ever that...
I wonder if they would change after they have kids, because how do you hate your grandkids? you know?
Maybe it changed, but maybe they won't be, I don't know, but they seems very strong.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's still good that they still hang out with the daughter, you know, rather than like cut her off because she's married Asian.
Yeah.
Did they go to the wedding?
They didn't talk about the wedding at all. Just that they're married, but the husband's definitely very sweet.
Yeah.
And it's nice that the wife stands by the husband.
Yeah.
I think from what I'm reading. But I just know that like when I started making like headway with your parents, like when I can tell that like, oh, your parents like me, it's like it's a good feeling, you know. Like every time it's like, hey, you know, like I'm planning, or my parents are planning this lunch or this trip, and they like, hey, you know, invite
Justin.
you know, yeah, and it's like, oh, that's nice. It's a nice feeling. So, yeah, I think I don't take it for granted, but it's just like it's become normal that like, oh, I have this like relationship with your parents. It's really nice, but I think that if I was on the other side and your parents were like didn't like me, and every time we go to a family event or like we go with them,
you feel
to the house,
bad.
yeah, I'd
It's
feel
not
like
an- it's-
uncomfortable
yeah.
or feel like more pressure to like, yeah, I think maybe I am like Alex, because I would feel pressure to like make them like me.
You will for sure. You
Yeah.
are a people pleaser, so you will.
Yeah. So
And
then, yeah.
I think you will, and I think that it's just toxic. You know, I think that's why the wife wanted him to move on.
Yeah.
Because maybe she see how upset he was or he is, and yeah, I mean, she knows her parents the best, you know, so she knows that it wouldn't change their mind. So might just as well, you know, like accept it, and then we just move on with our lives.
I don't think she's the asshole. Obviously, she's not the asshole.
She's not.
I think maybe
I
it's
think she
been
do
a while.
for
Yeah.
his own interest, honestly, because she can't. I think she knows that she can't change her parents, so yeah, maybe this is to set expectation for.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta be blunt. Be like, hey, this is like a battle we're not gonna win. But also the nice thing is that my advice to them as a couple would just be like, in a way, like this can kind of make their bond stronger, you know, and learn that like, you know, not everyone is going to accept us, and this is something that's going to be very difficult, but at the same time, like no matter what, we're a team. And in a way that the negative pressure from the outside can kind of like cause them to be more like tight and stronger together, you know, as like a team, you know. Sometimes like adversity builds, you know, character, and like, you know, good for them as a couple. Yeah. So hopefully he doesn't take it too personally from his wife and just sees that like that this is just something that there's just a reality I need to accept, you know. But yeah, in-laws.
You look lovely today.
Thank you. You look lovely today too.
Same.
Okay, let's see some comments. If there are any updates. So the comment by Nakmed says, "I think neither one here is an asshole. Your family definitely, but not you or your husband. It is a really difficult situation, and it is perfectly understandable that you want to get away from it by distancing yourself from your family. At the same time, it's commendable of him that he wants for your family to accept your relationship, even if it seems impossible. I think in this situation, the best thing would be to support his decision and his actions, letting him know that you are on his side and that you don't need your family's approval at all. If your family cannot change, then he will surely understand this on his own, but it seems like you have to let him try at least. I mean, they've been married for a year and probably dating before that, so I'm sure it's been a long time. So the next comment by OKProfession9372 says, "Not the asshole, it's your family, and you want to go no contact with them, which is the obvious and correct thing to do with a racist. Alex needs to respect that it's primarily your call, and that you've known them and how they are for much longer than he has. Frankly, most of the am I the assholes on this topic are the whiter partner saying you just don't understand. That's just the way they are, etc. It's really refreshing that you are calling them out on being racist." Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, it seems like they got a lot of support, not the asshole, which is good. Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes there comes a point where you just need to be honest with your partner and tell them the truth. Like, hey, yeah.
I am reading this person, the actual outcome poster.
This one.
Uh-huh.
Not the asshole. He needs to grow up and stop seeking approval from racist. He's leaving for days over this. Suggests he needs therapy to work through some underlying self-worth issues he's projecting onto this failed relationship with your parents. I think that's a little heavy.
Me too. I'm like, wow, he needs to grow up. I mean, it's very we don't understand him, so we don't understand how much he values acceptance from the family, and it's not just social acceptance, but this is your loved one families, and I think in Asian culture, you're like what you say, like two families also tied together. So I think, of course, he knows that how much families or parents are very important for the family itself, grandparents and whatnot. So I think that it's very important for him. So that's why it's bothered him a lot. Yeah. But this is the first time that I heard anything about this. I don't think this is super hardcore racist, but it's quite sad to hear.
Yeah.
It's quite sad to hear. So, I don't think she's an asshole. Definitely not. She just look out for him, for his best interest. Yeah, but it's just hard for us to also fully get what he is going through,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's tough. I was messing with the recorders, and then I had something I wanted to say, but I forgot. But I think you summed it up well. Good job. Too many gadgets. I love gadgets. Okay. Oh yeah. I think a lot of people like to rush and feel like whenever someone shows some kind of like negative like emotion, they're like, oh, he needs therapy and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, I think it's very normal to be upset and be disappointed, and maybe you need some time to some space, because maybe he doesn't want to be upset around his wife. Like, he knows that his wife isn't the problem, but at the same time, he's just in like a I just need to burn off this negative energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I talk to people and they're sad or they're mad, I tell them feel it. If you're mad, be mad. Feel that anger. If you're sad, it's okay to be sad, right? Like, I know a lot of people were like, I need to be happy again. I need to get rid of this sadness. Like, what can I do to like distract myself? Should I date again, or like should I start doing things like partying really hard to like just have fun? I need to have fun.
Just do it.
Just do it. But then it's like, sometimes we have these emotions for a reason. It's our body like processing maybe things that we don't. It's like subconsciously we need to process, and it's like, I think a lot of times these problems that manifest in the long run is because we don't allow ourselves to process.
I think we just need to go with the flow sometimes. Just allow yourself to feel the emotions and let it go through you. And there's also a process of it for grief, angry, disappointment. You just need to let it be. So you're at the end of the day, I think you'll be enlightened by it, and then like what is your next step or your next move to deal with it at the end.
Like, you need that static to like fade away so you can like think clearly again. Like, I know your mechanism sometimes is like, you're like, hey, I just need some space.
Or I just like to cry.
Yeah. Crying is good. I think it's good.
It just sort of release, that you release that either you go exercise or you release some tension, or just cry, so you just let it out. I think it's just the form of let something out. Just
like manifest it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big crier, but I remember like when you like those big cries, and then like it's like so big that like you need to take a nap after. and then you feel like so much better, you know?
You done it before?
I don't know. I'm sure I used to cry a lot when I was younger. Like as a kid, like I would cry if I lost the basketball game. Like not even like it's not even like high school or something. It was like, middle school.
Aww.
It was like not even like in a proper league or whatever. It was just like, yeah.
I wonder if it's just in boy crying.
Yeah, you can ask my cousin. He used to bully me.
Which one?
Eben. I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, everyone knows this story. So, I mean, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think in the main gist of it, as the core family, I'm happy for Alex, and hopefully he came back and it just makes their bond stronger, which I think it will. I mean, Alex doesn't seem like a spiteful person.
I don't think so too.
Okay, so we have one more story by Conscious Ad 1963. Am I the asshole? I want my partner to come to a family dinner and he thinks I'm selfish for wanting him there. I have a family dinner with my dad, sister, our partners, and kids for Father's Day, not on Father's Day itself. I told my partner about it and he said, why would I be going if it's your family? I said I'd like him to be there. He said he wouldn't have anything to talk about, and then said it would also be nice if he could come to help out with the kids, since otherwise I'd spend the whole time chasing after them and I wouldn't get much time with my dad. He then accused me of only wanting him to babysit and that he'd spend the whole time dealing with all the kids. I said it's not that I wouldn't be helping too. He wouldn't have to put in all the effort. He said if I wanted the time with my dad, it would make more sense for him to just stay home with the kids. I said, okay, then, thinking he was making a nice offer for my dad on Father's Day. Only then he says, you agreed pretty quickly, so you do just want me to babysit. I tried to re-explain, but he just kept accusing me of being selfish and only wanting him there as a babysitter. Our kids are 6 and 3, and they have autism and ADHD, and they often try to run away once they are bored, and it's a big effort to go out with them. My partner won't go out with both of them alone because of the effort they take. We are going to a restaurant which has a fenced-in playgrounds for this reason. Am I the asshole? What's your take?
What's your take?
Okay. If it was us, I mean, it's our kids, right? So, I mean, of course I'd help to watch my kids. And if it's your dad, you want to spend time with your dad. Not that I don't like hanging out with your dad, but, I
don't get it. Why he have to make a big fuss by claiming it, oh, you want me there as a babysitter. Mm-hmm. Because you're a team. There's no such thing as like, oh, I want you there as a babysitter. It's...
I have a feeling from the husband's perspective is like, this doesn't sound like it's going to be fun. So I don't want to go.
But what fun does he want? Like taking care of the kids, it's always something that it's parents' code,
Yeah, I think he just feels like, oh, I'm like, the only reason I'm going is to watch the kids. So
or is it because he doesn't want to spend time with her dad?
I think maybe he feels offended in that, like, I'm only being invited because you want me to take care of the kids. But at the same time, so, okay, if I would rephrase it, if I can, like, restructure the husband's mind, it's kind of like, if I was restructuring it for the husband's mind, it would be that your wife wants to go spend time with her father for Father's Day, which is understandable. And the father probably wants the kids to be there, see the grandkids, and it's not easy. So don't you want to support your wife and help her, do that? And I feel like when you structure it that way as like a, hey, let's go team, it doesn't seem like there should be an issue. But I don't know how difficult it is to raise their kids because you don't know how the autism, right? And ADHD.
Yeah.
And you don't know how severe and how difficult it is. So maybe the dad just kind of like, I'm so exhausted taking care of these kids. And maybe he feels like hey, if you take the kids and go see the dad, maybe this is my chance for like quiet time at home, or like, to do my own thing.
I just thought about it that maybe for him, it might be easier if she just went to spend time with her dad, just her, and then he take care of the kids at home. That in their own space, and he knows, like, so he can just manage. It's easier to manage when they're at their home rather than like pack everything, go to their parents' house or her parents' house, and like taking care of the kids. So maybe he's trying to say like it would be better if you just go and I'm like at home with the kids at our place. But I was just thinking that we don't understand or we don't know how difficult it would be for, maybe it is also coming from like all the frustration that he had and then he just exploded because of this tiny ask.
But I think he suggested like, what if I just stay home and watch the kids as a test to see that, like, do you even want me, like, me or the kids there, or are you just like, if you can get rid of me and the kids, like if I can just take care of the kids, or are you just looking for someone to like manage the kids, which is he was testing her, and I feel like she agreed to it. But I don't think it was the fact that she didn't want the kids and the husband there. I think she's just like, well, I think the main priority is my dad, spending time with my dad. So if that's the case, then maybe that's the best outcome. But he took it as a way of like, kind of like, see, you don't even want me there. You just want me to, as a,
I think she probably also thought that it's Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
So probably like her dad might want to also see the kids, grandkids, you know. So that's why, like, why not bringing them? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should. And then sometimes, I don't know. I mean, dealing with bringing kids around is just difficult sometimes, but at the same time, it's like they should see their grandpa. And so,
I would understand sometimes that I would have lunch with my girlfriends, and some of them already have kids, and then we like, oh my god, I want to see your baby, because it's a chance for us to see. But a few of my friends who are also saying like, no, this time I'll go by myself, because if the kid is around, we won't be able to talk, and she wouldn't be able to enjoy the time with us. So like, I think maybe it's better for like her as well, just to actually ask him that, hey, I want to go see my dad. It would be nice if you guys are going to, but I know that it's a hassle that we need to go, and then like many things. Would it be better? I would want you to join and the kids because it's Father's Day, but I also want my time with my dad. What do you think?
What do I think?
No. I mean, like,
yeah. I don't know. I think I'm a little bit. My point of view is a little bit different, because I mean, even though I'm in my like 30s, I'm always been. Ooh, actually, this sounds bad, but I'm always the guy that hangs out with the kids. So, like, when I do like family events, I'm always like, I don't know. I always like hanging out with the kids.
Yeah.
Maybe I still view myself as one of the kids, and sometimes every once in a while they're like, no, like, come sit with us at the big table. I'm like, oh, whoa, but yeah. And then so I don't know. I feel like if I had to take care of kids and like we're going to visit your dad, like I'm like, yeah, I'll hang out with the kids while you guys do your thing. But maybe I'm weird.
No, it's not. I think maybe they are going through a lot. So it's just that rocky, bumpy road that they're going through. So I don't think it's a big deal or a big fuss, but it's just one of those days that it wasn't the right day for her to ask, maybe, and he's like maybe low patient. Yeah. But I don't think that it's such a big deal.
Oh, yeah. When I first read this, I was like pretty like, oh, wow, the husband's being an asshole. But you seem very like understanding, which is nice.
Yeah.
So sweet.
No, but
sweet.
I think that
good.
it just, like sometimes, because I think you also, I think sometimes you also want to be like daddy's girl,
Me?
No, me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you want to also be daddy girls, but you also like have responsibility as a mom. I'm not pregnant, by the way, but I mean, you're also responsible as a mom, that like, oh, I have my kids. I want to bring my kids too. But it's also Father's Day that, oh, maybe we should do this as a joint, like, party or a gathering that celebrating her dad and also the husband. So the husband can also spend time with the kids.
True.
Maybe. So maybe, but I mean, I think he just not up for it that day.
But she also said that they're going to a restaurant with like a cage, not cage, but like a penned up area for the kids, like a play area.
As you say, usually, if they are going, right? Not that day. Like my partner won't go out.
We are going to a restaurant which has a fenced-in playground for this reason. So I think they chose a restaurant to go to.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I guess also like if the husband is taking care of the kids, then he's going to be in that play area too. Also kind of separate. Maybe this happens a lot. Maybe every like family get together, he's the one that's like kind of like expected to like take care of the kids while the wife is, relaxing or something like that. So it could be like there's more to the story, like a history to the story that we know. Or maybe his father-in-law is racist. No. I don't know. Okay, let's see the comments. But I really like your perspective. I think you changed my mind a little bit, quite a bit.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so yeah, I think a lot of people initially reacted like me. So the first person, DPCT107, said, "Not the asshole, your partner is the asshole. Sounds to me like he doesn't want to be a family. Has he even introduced you and your kids to his parents?" And then the wife, or the original post said, "We've been together for over 10 years. His family comes and stays with us when they are in the state, and he has come to plenty of family things before now." And then the commenter replied that this is key information for your original post that she should have added, and I think the OP said she edited to the original story. Then another one says, "He's the selfish one. If he can't support you for one day so that you can have some quality time with your father, that speaks volumes." But then they took it back and they said, "So the post has been edited to say that he's the father. Initially it reads as these were your children's only. This makes it even worse. He's refusing to go out alone with his own children. He leaves all the heavy lifting to you. This is so selfish." Also referring to caring for his own children as babysitting says a lot. But yeah, I think this really reflects kind of my initial feelings. But you're right. I think there's not enough information. Yeah.
Oh, she replied on something.
Okay, so she said, so someone, Thin Biscotti, said, "Am I understanding this correctly? You guys picked this restaurant for the sake of the kids, then you want to leave the kids at home?" ? She said, "I picked it because of the kids, yes. He rarely makes that kind of offer, so I thought he must have wanted me to get a chance to relax and the time with my dad. My main preference was him and the kids to come, not just me and kids or just me. If I wanted to go without the kids, I'd have picked when they are at school and daycare." And then the commenter just replied, "Okay."
Full stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are hammering the OP about, or not hammering, but saying that the husband's an a-hole. But yeah, I think
she said like so she comment in one of the reply. "I will consider you a judge." Should I read from the top?
You want to read the comment before?
Yeah.
Sure. Ooh, that one says, "You're the asshole" to the mom. Okay.
So one comment from Aggressive Mind 2085. "You the asshole. Focus on him. He is the dad of your kids. Would you be fine if Mother's Day were him going to his mom with you home alone with the kids?" And the poster replied, "I will consider your judgment, thanks, but to clarify, this dinner from my father is not on Father's Day itself. The staying at home part was also his suggestion, not mine. I wanted us to go as a family. In the same circumstances reversed, yes, I would have gone with him or stayed home with the kids for him. I might have felt left out in the latter option, but that was his offer." So the commenter replied, "If there was a separate Father's Day event for your partner, then you're fine. You might wish to edit the story to clarify that."
Oh, it seems like the poster is kind of getting burned a little. But yeah, you know what? You also put that perspective is that it was also Father's Day. Maybe not Father's Day, but it's at around that time, and maybe the husband is also feeling like, what about me? You know, like, yeah, like you're right. He is the father too. It's also his day in a sense.
Yeah. But I mean, they didn't go on Father's Day, but I think the whole point for her, I think she just need to make her mind a bit. But in general sense, what we've been reading from the comment is that she wants to go as a family.
Yeah.
You know, and she also wants to do both things. Like she wants to go as a family, and she also wants to be able to get like a bit of time with her dad. So him being there, taking care of the kid from like a gap between gaps, so she can have that time to be with her dad too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just one of those days that maybe the husband is not on the high day.
Yeah, doing well. Yeah, I mean, I can understand the husband's feelings now. I definitely empathize with him more. But yeah, but at the same time, it's. I mean, do they say the age? Do they say their ages?
6 and 3.
No, the partners.
No.
I mean, if they have kids, they're probably in at least 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
But
I mean, kids with autism and ADHD, I don't think I think it's not easy.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I think there's a lot of frustrations and yeah, so I don't know. I think I need more context.
Yeah. I think I've been reading a lot of stories about just random, like about people, getting cancer and dying when they're young. And it made me feel like, my parents are, it's quite precious, our time with our parents. So I think that's why I'm empathizing with the wife, because I'm just kind of like, it's important that time you have with your parents. They said that I saw some IG story that says like you only get like 19 years with your kids. The first 18 years you get with your kids, and then the last year is like spread out, like because like if I only see my parents like twice a year,
okay,
imagine if I only see if I only go back to the States, once or twice a year for a week or 2 weeks at a time, then I'm only seeing my parents for like maybe let's say 3 weeks a year. And then if my parents only live for like 20, 30 more years, that's 30 weeks. 60 weeks or
like a year.
Or like a year.
Oh wow.
And like you don't think about, you feel like, I have 30 years left with my parents, but actually it's like, no, you're only gonna be with them for like,
I think we need to save up
and go back more.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my parents to retire here, but anyways, off subject. Yeah, so anyways, family's important. Love your family, but at the same time, when you're getting married, you're also starting your own family. So it's also, I think it's you have to take care of yourselves and your partners, because those are the people that are supporting you every day, day in, day out. So definitely always have your partner's back. I think for usually, I was gonna fist bump, and then
we can do that.
And then the ring, and then but also parents can be difficult because your in-laws is it's like a hidden surprise. You don't really know what your in-laws are going to be like when you're initially dating someone, when you're first, and then sometimes when you fall in love with someone, it's too late, and then you meet the in-laws, and you get lucky, or sometimes they're racist. So yeah.
Opposite from lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it takes two.
It takes two. Yeah, that's a fun game. Yeah, so that's our episode. You can see our setup is a bit different. We're testing out different setups because next week we'll be having our first surprise guests next week. Or next episode.
Super excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. More gadgets to work out. Yeah. So let us know what you think. Comment on our YouTube channel, Instagram. I have questions on our Spotify now that you can answer as well. And if you have any stories or topics that you'd like us to talk about or discuss, you can comment. You can email us at contactyoulooklovelytoday@gmail.com. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Toodles.
Toodles.